Hey guys, it's Kim from your favorite, the COB podcast. Today we'll be sharing our new hire survival guide, giving you our advice on how to maneuver through life as a newly minted professional. We'll start off with some post-holiday talk, dive into New Year's resolutions, and finish things off with a brand new podium discussing our most loathed office quirks. Hope you enjoy it. Let's get to it.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is the winding down days of December.
This is true.
Yeah.
It's like the Ides of December.
Shut up. No, it's not.
Wow, that didn't go over well. Okay, perfect. There we go.
We're recording this December 28th. You probably won't get it in for another month at the rate that we produce these podcasts. But we are all just coming back from our holiday break.
That's right.
Yeah.
We all had a nice little vacation. I know
It was a good time.
I enjoyed myself thoroughly. So my high from the holidays was going to a Trans-Siberian Orchestra concert.
Get out.
That's
Seriously?
awesome.
Yeah. So
Oh, that would be
I
killer.
bought tickets for the GF for her birthday. She's always wanted to go. I really had no idea what it was. I was expecting a legit orchestra.
You had never heard of Trans-Siberian Orchestra?
I mean, obviously I've heard of that one Christmas song where it's like a mashup of all the Christmas. It was really,
They rock out.
really cool.
They're amazing.
But dude, it's an actual rock band.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are
And
a rock band.
they're dressed in black leather, like,
Mhm.
and it's a Christmas
Yeah.
rock band.
Yeah.
That's like hardcore and just like headbangs and stuff.
Uh-huh.
It's pretty.
No orchestra.
No,
Extremely
no.
misleading.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I almost made fun of a guy for dressing like in black and stuff. It's like, oh, this guy has no idea what. But it turns out he's dressed exactly like the people on stage. So I'm
Church
the
doesn't
idiot.
know how high class. He doesn't know high-end arts gigs.
What about you?
Yeah.
My high, I think, was just really the baking traditions over the holidays. We have a lot of baking traditions. One that we make is called a torta milanese that we make every year. I love it so much. It's delicious. I know, right?
Torta milanese.
What about the torta? I'm shopping for the torta.
Is it Italian? I don't know. Is it French?
Milan.
I
I
can't
think
get the
Milan
accent.
is Spain, right?
So
Yeah,
you're saying
Spanish.
chocolate chip cookie dough is beneath you? You have to go for torta milanese.
Exactly.
Your
Yeah.
st-
They don't.
Your gift standards are too low and your snack standards are way
Yeah.
too high.
All right. My low is actually your high. Is all those goodies. Fat Kevin is
Yeah.
officially back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fat Kevin is back. I
We really enjoyed it.
pounded
We really enjoyed
desserts.
it.
I pounded candies. I pounded cookies.
Mm-hmm.
And I've honestly regressed 9 months. So we've got New Year's Eve coming up.
We do. One of the most pointless holidays of the year. New Year's
It's
Day.
not
New
the
Year's
most
Eve.
pointless. Okay, say that to people in 1999.
This is
Yeah.
true.
Say that to
Actually,
people
that
in
was the freak out.
2012.
Yeah, you're right. That's true. People had a little bit of the
We're
freak out.
excited to see a new year. Also great time to start over. And people, I hate that people make fun of people who do resolutions. Oh, why do you wait for a certain time of the year
That's-
to change your life? Okay,
Yeah, okay, go for it.
because it's a perfect time. Think about it.
Yeah.
Most people are vacationing for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
You're stuffing your face with holiday food. You've had the month Thanksgiving to New Year's Eve of just
Mm-hmm.
being a degenerate human being when it comes to dieting, when it comes to routines. Everything is out the window.
Mm-hmm.
All inhibitions are just
Just gone.
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
Because you're
'Cause it's
fighting deadlines.
Yep.
You're fighting the holidays. You're spending boatloads of money.
Yeah.
You're eating bad food.
There's no self-control.
You're traveling. Zero self-control. Why not start over?
I agree.
It's like senior
100%
spring
agree.
when it comes to personal responsibility.
yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
But I'm also of the mindset that I don't know, but I'm all for New Year's resolutions, but I'm of the camp that I started mine like 3 weeks ago. I started mine 3 weeks ago,
on.
so that when
you just
so that the
Yeah.
deadline comes
completely
up.
undid my
Yeah,
argument.
you did.
no,
Yeah.
My argument was that the last 3 weeks.
No, that the resolution's good, but you move the threshold back so that you don't start with all the tryhards on January 1st.
That is going to be bad.
Yeah.
I am not looking forward to my gym.
Thank you.
It's gonna be
exactly.
pretty crowded, yeah.
Exactly.
But you still
you keep the threshold, but
have to deal with the tryhards.
you just have to deal with them. But luckily, you're already into your groove. If you've been doing it for a
Also-
month, by the time January 1st comes along, so that you can deal with the tryhards and cast them
Also,
off.
why are they tryhards if they're just starting up? Technically, aren't you the
Yeah,
tryhard
that's
for
true.
starting early?
Yeah. It's,
That's a great point.
You mean
there,
all the
actually, yeah.
posers.
All the posers, exactly.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
agree
yeah.
with Kevin.
And also, it doesn't matter when your routine is. Humble brag, my routine started 9 months ago.
Ooh.
Anyways,
Yeah.
let's talk resolution.
Okay, let's talk
All
about
right.
that.
All right. What's yours?
First, I'm all for bragging about myself.
Mm-hmm.
In 5 days, I will have officially not drinking a soda all year. So
Really?
my first time
Wow.
I've ever stuck with a resolution.
A whole year without
And
soda?
okay, and here's where the disclaimer comes in. Yeah, okay, applause. Here's where the disclaimer comes in. I steal sips of soda.
Okay, so So
I still steal sips,
you dip a toe off the wagon, and
but
then
I haven't fallen off the wagon. So if I had to total all my sips, I would say less than 5 sodas all year. I never bought a soda at a
That's still
store.
good.
I
That's
never
good.
Yeah.
bought a soda at a restaurant. I always ordered water, milk. I've even steered clear of sugar water. I want to keep up with that.
So
I wanna-
it's a
proud of you, man.
continued.
it's a continued resolution. I'm not
Way
going to
to go,
drink any
man.
more soda, and I think
why reinvent the wheel? You already got the perfect system right
Yeah.
here.
I don't have a resolution that it's going to hardcore start on the first. What I think I want to do is just meal prep better and diet. Because the hardest thing about working out and leading a fit life isn't the working out. That stuff's fun. It's the meal prepping
Yeah.
and the eating.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So mine, I actually, fitness is a good one. I went with just traveling in general, taking random trips.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be like, overseas or anything. Just like go to pick a city and go. Like go to Phoenix is something I want to do with my husband. Or the other thing I want to do was take a bike trip across the Katy Trail across Missouri.
That's tight. That's
Cool.
very tight.
I want to do that too. So those my resolutions are more along
Bucket
the lines
lists.
of
Yeah.
bucket
I
lists
like
instead
that.
of actual
Nice.
like resolutions.
Mine kind of fall into the personal fitness as well, meaning there's areas to improve as far as my fitness kind of
Yeah.
regime right now. And I want to do that, but also I'm really getting big into, and I want to keep my focus on and keep consistency up on my mindfulness tactics and meditation tactics throughout the week. Like I'm gonna come right out and say it. Every night for about 10 to 15 minutes, I sit after my kids are to bed and everything. I sit in a chair and I close my eyes.
That's smart.
I'm trying to sleep, just being very mindful of where my thoughts are at, and I just come back to center. It has been the best change. I've been doing it the last 3 weeks or so. It has been the best change in my daily routine I've ever made.
Sounds like coping
Mindfulness.
with parenthood.
I like that.
It's not even so much like coping, like the stress is even, it's not like it's a coping mechanism for stress. It's a tool that you use on good days and bad days, that you just make yourself very mindful of where you're at, and you're able to control your headspace if you practice that muscle of controlling your headspace.
I do want to leave a quote that I walk by almost every day. Continuous improvement is better than delayed perfection.
Love it.
Ooh, nice.
Love it.
That's a good drop.
All right, so so new year, new me, new you, and another great time to start a new you would be when you start your first job.
Yeah. That feels almost like starting a new year of your life. Whenever that is, if you start in May or wherever, it feels like you're starting a new year of your life.
Really
New
are.
beginnings.
My grandpa has a very great metaphor for this, so I might have an Aaron moment here. But your entire life up to you graduating is in the harbor. So you're a boat, you're trying to navigate the harbor. There's a lot of traffic, a lot of dangers. I think you're actually more probable to sink in the harbor.
It's true.
But when you finally start your career and the rest of your life is going to be like open seas. Like you're such a structured, you're so structured, you're going to school, you're going to college. Boom, you're in the harbor. You can go east, you can go west,
I love it, man.
you can go so many different
Wow, that is
directions.
so
and it's
Aaron.
I love that metaphor,
my
dude.
Gosh.
and so being a metaphorical boat, leaving the harbor, starting your voyage on the open sea, we thought, as the Close of Business podcast, we'd give a new hire's guide.
Yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful.
A new hire's survival guide to starting the workplace.
I love it, man.
Let's do
Love
it.
Starting your career.
That is
So,
perfect.
what a great transition.
Yeah.
That's such a
Outstanding.
wonderful story.
Man.
Very
Yeah.
touching.
Yeah. Tears. Hold on. So, the way we structured this new hire survival guide is we divided it up into, it looks like 5 topics.
Yeah. 5 kind of
Yeah, 5
Broad.
topics.
Yeah.
5 broad overview topics that we want to hit on, but again, keep it nice and short and sweet and to the point.
So I'm going to run through these real quick. The first is hashtag real world problems. And this is the things that you didn't have to do in college that all of a sudden you're going to get blindsided by in the real world.
Yep.
The second is Mythbusters. These are things that you just assume about the real world, and you come to find out, you're dead wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
The third is professional etiquette. So when you come in that first day, and how do you conduct yourselves?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you carry yourselves?
Yeah.
How do you communicate?
The subtle thing.
The
You
subtle
go from
thing.
student to professional.
Yeah. And then we're going to go into just the tip, where we're going to give you guys a bunch of just what may seem random tips on the workplace, on your career development, just kind of like our miscellaneous category. And it may seem random because it is in fact random. These are just our tips that we've learned in the past couple years. We just started our career. And these are our tips.
Just little stocking stuffers as far as tips go.
Ooh,
Oh,
nice
okay.
little.
All right.
Like that.
I like how you brought that all full circle.
Like that.
And
When you're out of the harbor.
It's not such a lonely place.
although it may seem lonely at times. So anyways, let's dive into it. Let's get into real world problems. Kim?
All right, so my first real world problems that I'm going to throw at you guys is meal prepping. I think that's
Yeah.
incredibly
Huge.
important, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Put down the ramen, you guys. Start getting a little bit healthier. That's going to carry you through the work week.
If you
Get
buy
some
a-
vegetables and fruits in you. But just take some time to prep. You know, obviously you want to avoid spending money and going out to eat a lot because that'll add up. But just, take some time to be thoughtful about what you're going to eat. Be a little more mindful.
You don't have the cafeteria that you've already paid for every day.
Exactly.
True.
There is no meal plan that can come and save you.
Yeah.
You need to stop in with your stuff and they'll give you food. You swipe their
Yeah.
card.
Yeah.
Man, what a crazy life we lived in college.
So I'll go. My big one, my first one, is not being able to be properly hungover is a real world problem.
That's a problem.
In school,
yeah.
you could wake up,
Yep.
champ it out. You could skip class if you want to. You
Yeah.
didn't have to wake up. You can't do that. You got to champ it out.
You can make a game day decision on that one.
Sunday scaries are way more scary. It's like Scary Movie 3 compared to like Evil Dead. So
All right, so my last one that I have for you guys, just a quick tip. Don't call your parents when you need something done. You're an
Yes.
adult now, so
That's
behave like one, right?
That's one.
I mean, obviously, I'm not saying don't call your parents if you need help or if you need to talk to them or whatever. That's fine. But if you're trying to figure out how to do something, maybe try to venture out a little bit on your own to try to figure out a problem.
I agree.
You
I
know, we
agree.
have YouTube, we have a library. The internet is full of solutions to problems.
Oh,
so
may I also
utilize it.
offer up another resource as well? People. Meaning
Yes.
the people you work with might be
Yeah.
a good stop to talk to.
Yeah. So just, level up on adulting a little
I
bit.
agree. I
so
love
the
it.
real world
Yeah.
problem being you can't fall back on your parents.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think
Yes.
my next one is, and this is going to sound like 10 of them, but I think I grouped it all into one. It's like creating budgets, starting your retirement funds, looking
Yeah.
into investing in brokerage accounts, 401ks, Roth IRAs, paying taxes, and choosing benefits. I've got no advice because I still don't understand it, but that is a real world problem.
I
That
think
will
the best-
smack you.
Yeah.
The best way to sum it up is just know where your money is going.
I agree. I
Be
agree.
aware of where your dollars are going because that's one thing that you can quickly lose track of.
Yeah. And I don't know about you guys, but I never felt dumber in my early career than when I was starting those things. When I was setting up my HSA, when I was setting up my IRAs,
It's-
accounts, everything.
it's
You never
hard.
feel dumber than when you start doing that. But hey, you out there,
You need to.
that you're listening, you're a smarty. You got this. You can do this.
You need to. You need to struggle. It's easy for me. I just just click some buttons, signed up for some things, and it wasn't until this year that I actually read through it and understood it. Struggle with it. Ask questions. Do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into some Mythbusters, and I'll start off because I think this is a big one that I hear literally everyone talk about in college,
Yeah.
and that is I can't wait to graduate so I finally have money. What a load of crock.
Saved it.
Expendable income is the biggest Mythbuster.
That's a great myth.
Because you're not living off loans. You're not having your little mommy and daddy pay
Yep.
for your college.
Did we say about meal plan earlier? There is no meal plan.
There
so
is
you're
no
spending
meal
money
plans.
On food.
You're
Yes.
spending money on food, and guess what? When you're lazy, you're spending more money on going out.
Yeah.
You have bills.
Yes.
You have your own insurance that you need to pay for. You have your own medical expenses, your housing, your car, because most people buy a car, a new car that
Maintenance.
it doesn't have to
Yes.
drive 3 miles to campus. It now has to drive 30 miles a day.
And guess what? You're also a member of your community as well, so you have to give back the blessings that you've been given. So charitable contributions,
Yeah.
those kinds of
Yeah.
things.
And there's just so many things you don't think about. Cell phone bills, just like, oh my goodness.
You're going to want to go on trips. Your friends are getting married.
Yeah.
You got
Oh,
Bible
that is
studies.
it.
Trip, yeah, the
That
You're
gets
like,
pricey,
oh, I'm gonna
guys."
travel.
That's the quicksand.
Except, yeah, you're only going to travel to your friends' weddings because you have. I had 11 weddings this year. I already have 7 or 8 next year. So
don't
yeah,
wanna
that's
know.
I
that's
don't
like
envy that.
at least $500, $600 there.
That
So
adds
it's
up so fast.
it's not what you think it's going to be. You
Yeah.
don't have as much time
Yeah.
that you think you're going to have to travel,
Nope.
and you don't have as much money.
Yeah.
So there's your bucket of cold water. Sorry.
Happy New Year's.
All right, I can keep going, but Kim, take over.
Okay. All right. So my next Mythbuster here is that you're going to be exhausted after a week's worth of work. You're mistaken if you think that you're going to go from work to play, back to work,
Mm-hmm.
2 times, 3 times a week.
Mhm.
It adds up, guys.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
really does. I mean, I'm not saying don't go out and have fun, but just be aware of how often you're going out and how much sleep you're getting.
So-
So
Exactly,
for
yeah.
example, you're not going to go to like out to the bar one night, then go to an MLS game the next night, and then
Yeah.
go to a baseball game the next night. No,
You're so tired.
you're dead.
Exactly.
And with that, you don't have all that free time that you think you're gonna get. Like in
No.
college, it's like, okay, well, the trade-off is like, yeah, I got to work 8 hours, but like in college, like I got to go to class for 5 hours, and then I have all this homework to do.
Yeah.
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 And so like I can't wait for that free time after work.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying it's impossible to fill that free time, but guys, the day slips by more than you think. Like
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does.
you come home, you work, you don't work 8 hours. You work more than 8 hours, let's be honest. You come home, you're exhausted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to cook dinner, you have to get ready, you have to shower, get ready, work out if you work out after work.
Mm-hmm.
And then guess what? It's 9 o'clock.
It goes by so fast.
But there are people that like if you meal prep like Kim said, you don't have to worry about cooking. You can
Yeah.
free up some time. You can go out. It's just
Yeah.
not as easy as you think.
I completely agree. All right. The myth that I had is, as an engineer, you're a calculator. That's what you are, and that's your purpose. It's so much more than that, and I didn't fully grasp that until I got into my job. Meaning, I took my technical writing classes in college, and I said, "Oh yeah, I can do well. I know how to talk to people, and I can write
Yeah.
stuff down."
Yeah.
But my job won't be doing presentations and speeches. Guess what? It's all of that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I mean, another piggyback off of that is guess what? All these calculations and equations and theories you learn about, well, you're learning about them because they've already been created.
Mm-hmm. And apply.
You're just applied. You're just reapplying these calculations. I could count on 2 hands the number of calculations that I have done, and maybe that's just the type of work I'm in.
Yeah.
And there will be jobs where you have to run calculations. I've done it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I'm just letting you know you're not going to be getting 2-3 page long power quality calculations to
No, exactly.
Yes, yeah.
I think in my 5 years, I've made 2 or 3 original calculation templates for very specific things. But besides that, your boss, everybody wants you to use, or at least use as a reference, leverage existing resources to
Yeah.
go further faster.
Right.
Exactly.
I'm going to piggyback off in the other direction from what you said, as far as you're not only just a calculator, but you also have different roles in the workplace, right? So client interaction is a huge part of that.
Huge one that nobody knows
Yeah.
how much that's going to interact.
Absolutely. And so right off the bat, you very well can be tossed into conference calls and apply speaking skills right off the bat, right? So, I mean, you're not just going to be behind a desk 8 hours a day. You're actually going to be interacting with people outside of work and having to present yourself as a professional, not just a coworker to somebody across the cubicle from you.
I agree.
Very true. All right, so our next category is professional etiquette. Can we start us off?
I do. You guys have been so antsy to talk about these because they don't honestly seem like, it seems like common sense, but you can't
It
imagine
does.
how
Oh
often
my
people
goodness.
just look over this kind of stuff.
Maybe
They
that's a
get too comfortable.
That's transition myth right there. You think that professional
Yeah.
etiquette is something that's so ubiquitous that everybody does it? No.
No.
All right,
no.
define ubiquitous.
Ubiquitous is all overreaching, expansive, meaning everybody does it.
Spell it.
UBIQ.
That's what I thought. Okay, Kim.
All right. So my tips to you guys. The first one is to cut the gossip, right? Your coworkers are not always going to be trustworthy people.
Yeah.
You may not be as buddy-buddy with them as you might think. And word is always going to spread like wildfire. So not only can you get in serious trouble, whether you're talking or being spoken to about something that's a bit dicey, but at the very least, you can look like a complete jerk in the office and
completely
be
agree.
associated with negativity.
And it's amazing how quickly the workplace gets small. You realize how
Yeah.
small of a world you work in is your
Yeah.
office building. So don't partake in those things.
Another thing, I guess, kind of relating to that like gossip is don't come in with like preconceived biasness and judgments. Like you
Nice.
might come in like your senior year, your head honcho at your college. You may have been president of your fraternity at the top, and then you come in here and you kind of carry that cockiness. You carry that kind of like, I don't want to judgment. Like
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
You carry those filters with you.
yeah, you carry those
Yeah.
filters with you, and you look at the people that have been here for 10, 20 years, and you're like, oh man, they're pigeonholed. They're like, they're not where I want to be. I don't, I'm going to be 10 times higher than them.
I won't be them in 10
Yeah,
20
I'm not
years.
going to be them, or they're an engineer. They're not as social as I am. Like, no, because you're going to end up, like, becoming really good friends with those people. You're going to end up relying on
Absolutely.
those same people. So just, like, really keep an open mind when it comes to all the different personalities in the workplace.
Love it.
They're all just as important.
And that's actually one of my major tips as well, which is overconfidence is rat poison to your career. I can't tell you the number of times that I've been in conversations with people and we said, hey, this person's really great, but man, just their confidence in everything that they say is right and their unwillingness to take constructive criticism or to take suggestions is really hampering my need or my desire to work with them. Because what are your work relationships? You're building work relationships so that people want to work with you on your team.
Yeah.
The biggest question I ask myself if I'm on an interview team or wondering if I want to work with somebody who's either interning or whatnot, I ask myself, would I want that person on my team?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Emails. Professional etiquette. Huge emails.
yeah.
There's a lot of jokes made about how people handle themselves on email.
Yeah.
And this is like the simplest one. You control it. It's not like you get caught in a phrase or you're spewing and you're cursing.
Something gets taken out of context.
Ample room
speech.
for human error.
Like you literally can spend as much time as you want drafting this email. So here are my 3 tips. 1, proofread.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Proofread it through the eyes of the reader.
Yes.
Yes.
For your audience.
Put yourselves in their shoes and see how they could perceive it. Because like Aaron said, things can be taken out of context.
Sarcasm does not translate.
No.
It does not.
It
It does not translate
Oh my gosh.
unless they're your friend and you know.
Fair
And,
enough.
and there's one person on the 2 line, not 8
Yeah,
people.
not 8 people. And don't reply all unless you're talking to the entire group. There are going to be so many company messages that are going to sent out by accident to you.
Yes.
Do not reply all and say, "Oh, I don't think I need this." Like I cannot count how many times I woke up to 300 emails because everyone's like, "Yeah, this I'm on the wrong email. I'm on the wrong email."
Who's replying all to this email?
Get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Please
happened.
reply all. Please do not reply all. To the
That actually, I'm going to put the flag in the ground to our generation. We are going to be the ones who stop the practice of replying all and tell everybody
Yeah.
to reply
can't-
all.
I can't
That's
wait for it
such
to
a
be-
yesteryear problem. That I'm going to put the flag in the ground. Our generation. That's our moon race. Our moon race is to stop that
Sitting
practice
on
in
that
the
take,
office.
are ya?
Exactly. I'm sitting
Sitting
on
on
that
that
take.
take.
Right.
All
I'm sitting
right.
on that take.
All right.
I got one more thing.
Okay, go for it.
Don't delete emails. Keep track of emails that you sent. Print them out if you need to, because if you're interacting with clients or you're talking about scope work,
Yeah.
people will defend themselves before they defend you. And if you have
Good
proof
point.
Yeah.
Very good
of
point.
your communication, always
Yes.
document. Always send an email. Even if you
Yes.
have a conversation, follow up with email, document it, put it in a folder or print it out.
CYOA.
Yeah.
Cover your own ass.
Oh, okay.
Can't believe you've never heard of that
All
thing.
right.
Okay,
Oh,
there we
we
go.
go.
I'm done ranting about
That is-
emails.
that is Bible
and
right
I'm going to
there.
go ahead and piggyback off of some things we're saying about email and communication in general.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go ahead and drop a hot take here.
Ooh.
Cuss words have their place in the office.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
On
guess what-
podcasts.
on podcasts as well, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And what do I mean by that? I mean, they show emphasis, they show enthusiasm, but make sure you're doing it in the right setting. You know,
Correct.
I'm not talking about
Yeah.
reading somebody the riot act and calling them every name in the book. I'm talking about dropping them at very strategic points to emphasize what you're saying and not in a
Yeah.
loud kind of
Yes.
bringing down the house way, but in a very pointed, quiet
Yes.
way.
Yeah.
Because the less you use them, the more powerful they are when you use them.
Yep.
True.
So that's
Yeah.
a little myth there,
Read
but
the
also
room is a
professional
very
etiquette.
good
Yes,
point.
read the room, exactly.
Very good point. All right, my last one is I'm just going to say this real quick. No heart-to-hearts,
Yes,
please.
no
because
heart-to-hearts.
That carries a lot more weight than it does to me, and you're kind of you're pinning me in this conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can tell you want to talk to somebody about this. Maybe I'm not the right person to talk to.
So just try to avoid those very personal conversations with people in the office.
Yeah.
But if someone does come to you and gives you a heart to heart, like try and
Be a friend first.
be a friend. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
mean,
but also, that means don't
you-
repeat that sin yourself. Meaning, if something is happening in your personal life, don't be a perpetrator of that sin.
Unless you need someone to talk to, and then I would at least preface it because I don't want people to just bottle up. I just,
You know, I'll go ahead and submit.
you're
to
right.
Kevin's point, I'll submit if you want to have a heart-to-heart with somebody, buy them lunch.
yeah.
Buy them lunch, and then they have to listen
Good
to you.
point.
Thank you
That's
very
a
much.
great solution.
What's cheaper, a psychiatrist or buying somebody lunch?
alcohol.
Yeah.
So my last one is going to be dress code.
Mm-hmm.
As a little private school boy, always been a huge fan of dress for success.
Nice.
Dress for the job you want. Oh my God, Kevin, that's cliche. Well, guess what? It's cliche for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Do it, especially in the STEM world. You will have people in high places who are maybe from different generations that don't necessarily understand our free spirit and our free way of expressing ourselves.
The way we've been brought up in the work environment.
Is different.
Yeah.
So dress to where you will impress them, but still, like, you can wear a button-down shirt, but hey, maybe throw some color on that button-down shirt.
Exactly. And realize that those things that seem so subtle to us actually mean a lot to those
Stand
people.
out.
So dress in a way that won't offend them first, and
Yeah.
then you can personalize yourself later.
Yeah.
My last one is, like Kim's of no heart-to-heart conversations, I'm also going to call out the small talkers. Realize when your small talk conversations are way too
Yeah.
long. No, you don't want to be the person that everybody dreads running into in the hallway because they know that you're going to rope them into a 20-minute small talk conversation. Don't be that person. Trim the small talk, folks.
Yeah. People got places to be.
Exactly.
Don't
to
be
do.
don't be grandma grandpa at the holiday parties with their stories.
Yes.
Yeah.
JK, I love you guys. So there's one more etiquette category that we really got into.
It was shocking.
On a previous recording that we just spliced and threw in here, and that is bathroom etiquette. And we get into it, and it is a great little segment, nice little comic relief.
We talk
And-
about the sacred shared space.
Yes.
Very, very in depth.
Yeah, and this is the trust tree. So
Exactly.
So here it is. Go.
Open discussion. So
All right, bathroom etiquette. Here we go.
we've
Got this.
endearingly named it the poop scoop.
As Kevin teed off earlier, this is one of the ones where we oddly all felt very passionate about this very off-the-wall topic, that we feel like we've learned so much about bathroom etiquette since we started here working in a professional environment. And I'm going to go ahead and let Kevin take the pole position on this one.
Where do I start? Scroll up on my list here. All right. If the toilet don't go off, push the button.
Man, that was quite the lead-in
was just
for shopping
gross.
stalls.
Dude, you jumped right in, didn't
that
you?
was
It's
pole position right there.
yeah.
Here's my contribution.
Kim, do you want to
the
resurrect
toilet
that?
bowl.
Here
Yeah.
we go, yeah. Here we go.
Resurrect. I started off great. That's a great piece of advice. You would think it's common sense.
That's
Maybe
true.
not. You're right.
Find the ever elusive perfect bathroom.
So
Oh, no,
what
that'd be
about this
amazing.
bathroom?
More than likely, it's in the basement level of your building.
Yep.
What's
What's
there?
an ideal? What's an ideal like palace for
Okay,
you?
so you have multiple floors, basement. Becca got it right. So you go to the basement,
Corner
like the
of the
back
building.
corner of the building. No, obviously not around where a lot of offices are. This
Mm-hmm.
is like the next to the cafeteria type building.
Where you don't have to worry about
Now you
someone
guys
walking
know.
in and
Exactly.
interrupting. But the thing is, no, that's so true. Honestly, any public restroom where you walk in
Yeah.
and nobody's in there, that's the ideal palace. It doesn't matter the location as long as it's empty place.
All right.
I'm starting to get a feeling that I didn't research this as much as, or you guys have so much
What do you mean
more
research?
invested in
No,
this
what do you-
topic
what
than I
do you
do.
just spewed off the
My tips I was going to give was like tuck your name badge that you wear on
Oh,
your
no,
hip
that's huge.
into your pocket, right?
Yeah, that's
because
big.
you don't want to be in the stall and then give a little preview to the person next to you. Hey, this is me. I'm in the stall next to you.
Oh my god.
Okay.
That's a huge tip.
Going through my other ones real quick. Guys, never bring your phone to the urinal, because when you're on your phone, it looks like you're just taking non-PG pictures the whole time. That has happened, by the way. Not me, but just people I've seen.
You've thought that of
And the last one I swear is, guys, never initiate conversation when you're at the urinal. You don't go there to make conversation. You start the convo after you leave the urinal at the sink. Never started at the urinal.
Okay, yeah. Going to the urinal is okay and caring. I would like to add on to that. Don't look at anyone.
You don't
leaving
swivel
the
the head.
stalls. No,
You don't swivel the
urinal,
head.
Yeah, well, obviously don't
Obviously
swivel.
don't swivel.
Also, you aren't officially a professional if you haven't calculated how much money you made while you're sitting on the toilet. Per hour. On the hourly basis.
Have you guys
Hour?
seen?
The app.
See? It's a real thing.
Why have I never thought of this?
Okay, here's one.
If you're that
You're hurting,
person,
bud.
just go somewhere else.
I'm okay. So here's the main thing: you got to have awareness. Okay.
Yep.
If you walk into a bathroom and there's someone sitting in a stall you need to understand in your head, they're not going to do it until you leave.
Yeah.
So you
Yes.
got to be respectful. You got to get in and
True
out
story.
of there. If you're a lady, don't stop and fix your makeup in the mirror. Wash your hands quickly
Have
and get
some
out of
courtesy.
there. Yeah, have some
Get
courtesy.
the hell out of there.
Yeah. Don't have conversations in the bathroom
I
if
love the
someone
commentary.
is.
Kim.
Yeah. She's like sprinkling in like little
Podcast
extra.
hype.
Little conjecture. Bam.
Kim is the hype
Say
man.
it.
Because what?
You go, girl.
Say it.
All right, welcome back.
I hope you guys enjoyed that because we had to cut that down because we were having it was almost painful how much we were laughing throughout that conversation. And we went on for about 45 minutes. That's why we had to
We had to
break
trim.
that. Yeah, we had to trim hard.
We
on that one.
recorded that
Uh-huh.
as part of this episode.
Originally.
Originally. Maybe they hate it. What if they hate it? I hope you don't hate it. Anyways, let's get into the next segment. It's called Just the Tip. Our first topic is coined the spotlight effect, and I think we're all going to take different angles on the spotlight effect. And since I love talking over everyone else, I'm going to continue and start
Do
with
it.
my take.
Go ahead.
This came up in a conversation a little bit ago when I was just mentioning, like, guys, I feel like every time I look around, everyone's always busy, and I'm like, they're always working, always productive. And when I'm sitting at my desk, I don't feel that way. I feel like I'm checking my phone, or like I'm getting distracted by emails or this and that, and I'm not being able to focus. And that's not all the time. Sometimes I am, but I just feel like everyone else is always 100%.
Yeah.
That's not true.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
And to me, it always takes the spotlight effect takes the shape of whenever I mess up, I hyper focus on my mess up, and I'm so
Yeah.
embarrassed, and I
I
feel like I
relate.
can't dig myself out of that mess up. But the thing is, guess what? You always over accentuate your own failures and sometimes your own successes too. So
Right.
don't overemphasize your failures. Learn from them.
Yeah.
And guess what? The people you work with and your supervisor, they want to see you learn from that thing, get back up and get moving, because they don't want to see you linger.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, to piggyback off of you then.
What now?
Oh,
So when
wow.
you think that you're messing up, I always say, and my mentality is, if you're going to make a decision, stick with it. Don't go and ask the advice of a million people and your supervisor.
Yeah.
So the big thing to know is that everyone else is busy. You know, you're a young professional. You're going to learn from your mistakes. Just go with what you think is right, and then deal with it. Don't waste the time of others and try to figure out, like, what do you think I should do here? What do
Yeah.
you think I should do?
Yeah, don't crowdsource your career.
Yeah,
or your
exactly.
decisions, your daily
exactly.
decisions.
So just know that, you know, even though you're a young professional and you're trying to do a task that maybe you haven't done before, it's always good to just go with your gut and then learn from that, as opposed to asking your supervisor every 5 minutes
And annoying
for
them.
advice.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I guess my next thing is ask questions.
Yeah. Well,
At the same time,
Whoa.
don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Kim made a good point. Don't do it every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Instead, do everything you can. Work until you absolutely cannot do anything else unless this one question is answered. And then maybe make a list along the way.
I agree.
Yeah.
I
And then
agree.
take that, designate some time, let them know,
Yeah.
like, hey, later today I've got some questions. I'm going to need 20 minutes of your
Yeah.
time. Knock
Yeah.
it all
Perfect.
So
at once.
I love that. I love that
Perfect solution.
distilled approach. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and just tack on another phrase, which I always tell the folks that I mentor, whether they're an intern or a new professional here, is not only ask the questions, ask the right questions. Like Kevin, like you said, distill it down into so you're utilizing your supervisor's time wisely.
Yeah.
Focus on the right questions.
Right. Absolutely. All right. So do you guys ever wonder, what do you expect from people when they ask you, what's your 5-year plan?
Ooh, that's the question that you think that you get past when you're past the interview and you get the job. No. You're asked that every single day or every time you talk to your supervisor.
Yeah, so here
Yeah.
at Black & Veatch, we actually have that on our performance reviews.
This is true.
We have to come up with a 2 to 3 or 2 to 5 year plan, more
Yeah,
or less. It's
yeah.
a short-term plan. So I've got a little bit of a cheat sheet here as far as creating a 5-year plan. All right. Note what kind of projects you are working on. What do you like to do? What did you not enjoy? Those projects that you like working on, take some time and dig into those a little bit. Maybe do some research in that typical field, whether it be, you know, through client relations or white papers, presentations, training, etc. Get involved in those projects that you really enjoy, and then build yourself up to be a subject matter expert, or
Nice.
SMEs, as we say in the
Ooh,
professional world.
Some SMEs.
So then you can actually, you know, you are the expert for that particular subject.
Yeah.
That's a good way to create a 5-year plan. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, and maybe it doesn't pan out. Maybe you hit a wall, or maybe you stop enjoying what
You can
you're
always
doing.
change.
But you can always change it.
Yeah.
But at least that's a quick shortcut to figure out, all right, this is how I can become, what do I want to say?
A value-adding member of your
Yes, value adding. Thank
team.
you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
And I'm going to piggyback off and tack that on to the end of it, which is I always thought in my 5 to 10 year plan, the biggest mistake I made was I was trying to invent a position that I wanted to be in 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
Guess what? You don't have to invent a position.
No.
If you tell your supervisor, hey, in 5, 10 years, I'd sort of like to do a role like Joe Bluebell over there has, or whatever his name is.
Joe Bluebell.
Exactly.
That's a good guy.
He's been a close mentor of mine this whole time,
okay.
my entire life. But if you use those people that you know in your
Yeah.
network and say, hey, I actually kind of like their job of what they do.
Yeah.
I'd like to do something like that. That trims that whole discussion, gets there a lot
Yeah.
quicker, so that they know where
Yeah.
you want to go, and then you figure out the details in the middle.
Yeah. Agreed. You let people know what you want to do, they'll help you get there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Again, this is going to sound like a random list of ideas, so
Yeah.
just bear with us as we spew all these tips.
We just
to
have
you.
so much we want to share.
We just have
with
so
you.
much that we've learned.
We love you guys.
Yeah. Okay. So my next one would be manage up, and this ties in nicely with what you said. Is when you're creating a goal, you kind of tell them what you want. Well, when they're delegating work to you, make sure that you tell them what you can do and like you manage their expectations of you. So tell them what you think you can accomplish, what questions you think you may have, what resources you need, so that they're not sitting there guessing like, why is Kevin not getting this done? And meanwhile, you're stuck over there because there's like a bottleneck in, a drafting process, or you're waiting for a client to get back to you with some questions. You're at least letting them know you're opening that communication with them so that they know, okay, it's not his fault.
Yeah.
They'll always appreciate
Yeah.
more communication.
Yes.
The worst thing you can do is put off providing that communication in the hopes of, hey, everything will sort itself out in this next 8 hours, and I'm not going to tell them about what's happening.
Yeah.
Worst possible thing you could do.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Exactly.
Another part of presenting yourself is being very aware of the shadow you cast.
Excellent.
And this is
Very good point.
this is as much verbal as it is nonverbal.
Love it.
And this has to do with when people walk by your cubicle, are you always on your phone?
Mm-hmm.
Are you always looking down?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you always attentive? When you're in a conversation with people, do you seem uninterested, like because they're pulling you away from work, so you're just like, yeah, whatever?
Yeah.
Or
But
are
what's
you
your-
there in the moment?
What's your body language doing?
Yeah.
You might be
Yeah,
looking at them
yeah.
and everything, but is your body language telling them that you're not listening?
Yeah.
Right.
Biggest thing I can tell when people log off of a conversation is their body language.
If you're a supervisor, are you always complaining about the work you're given in front of the people you supervise?
That's the worst, yeah.
Yeah, it's like your body language and the things you say have an effect on everyone, especially if you're in a supervisor role, or will be, which we all will be. You really affect those underneath you who are looking up to you as a mentor.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yep. So I'm going to go in a bit of a different direction for my next tip here, and I just want to say real quick, just learn how to organize your life. I think it's really important to utilize your calendar, your task bar, use the tools that your company gives you in
Yeah.
order to, set a pace for your day, plan your week, plan an attack for each day.
Yeah. Don't make your productivity a surprise thing that happens. Make it a planned
Don't
thing that
surprise
happens
yourself,
every day.
right? Much
Exactly.
less other people.
Exactly.
That's a really big deal.
You never want people to say that they're surprised with how productive you are. It's like,
Yeah.
wait, what?
So whether you use apps or you want to buy a handwritten calendar, just work with something to get yourself on track for each day and each week, each month,
Yeah.
whatever. Yep.
And also, we are past the generation to where you need to print everything off that you're sent or reports. I agree with Kevin that you should document everything, but guess what? You can document electronically. The moment that you find yourself printing off too much is the moment you need to stop
Yeah.
and get off that
Yeah.
addiction.
Yeah.
Because that's so sinking to your productivity. Learn to do it electronically and you'll go a lot faster.
So I'm gonna combine 3
Ooh.
of mine.
Ooh.
Trifecta.
Yeah, so I just found like what do you call a little straight that
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Oh,
play
yeah.
in one
Yeah.
hand.
Yeah?
Um,
Isn't it straight 5 cards?
Straight as 5 cards, Aaron. Thank you very much. But I got 3. Okay. So I'm just gonna read these off. Drink the Kool-Aid,
Nice.
always be learning, and your career is yours. Those were the 3 that I wanted to say. But here, let me back up and explain this. I'm not a big Kool-Aid guy. I don't like drinking, like the culture. I was never that guy. I always thought that stuff was phony. I always wanted to be an individual until I got to the workplace and I realized that in order to be successful in your own life or in your career, you need to believe in that something. You need to invest yourself in the company, invest in yourself as well.
Exactly.
And the way to do that is actually taking to heart some of these company values, the culture, actually taking that to heart. Always make sure you're learning and you're progressing. And the biggest thing here is never forget that, yes, you work at this job, but the career is yours. So they may provide you with the job, but you're providing them with like your career. And if you find something you're interested in, pursue it. Even if it has nothing to do with your current position, go ask about it, go find it, and there will be people who will make that possible. Great example is this podcast. We keep referring to this podcast. This is an idea that
we're still shocked by it ourselves. Yeah.
This is an idea we came up with. We went and asked about it, found the right people, and they made it happen. It is something I never realized how much it is in your hands. If you have questions, go find the solutions. If they don't exist, make them.
Exactly.
I've got one little last one right here, and that is to smile. And that may seem very simple, but I want you to think about it. And I'll follow this up with a little study that I heard. But think about the people at the party when he or she walks into the party. Everyone's excited. And it's probably because they're like always upbeat, always positive, never a negative attitude, always smile, happy to be around. That translates to the workplace. If you're smiling, you're gonna physiological will translate to a mental mind state, and you'll always be a happy person to be around. People will gravitate towards you. And when supervisors are looking for the next round of promotions, you're going to float to the top of their head as a positive person that is a great team player.
Exactly.
A person people want to be around, and that's just a natural leader.
Yeah.
And this all came to my mind when I took some training that Black & Beach provided a couple months ago. There was this study so-and-so did, but they had two groups of students watch a movie. They had one group bite onto a pencil, and it was supposed to be like a funny movie, but they had one group not bite onto a pencil, but like put a pencil in between their lips to where they always had to keep their lips pursed. And then they had the other group with no pencil, just got to watch the movie. And the outcome of this study was the students that were forced to frown by holding a pencil in their mouth found the experience less enjoyable. They didn't like the movie. They didn't like, or the clip that they watched. Whereas the students who were there and smiling and were able to enjoy it had a completely different outtake on the movie and the experience. So if you can apply that to work, not only will people gravitate towards you, but you'll start to enjoy yourself more. So we realized that during the course of this, we just gave a bunch of random tips, and we just kind of like, I guess, just dipped our toes in. And maybe this is something in future episodes we actually give tangible takeaways for people on how to stay organized. If that's something you guys are interested in, please let us know. Slide into the DMs. Let us know, like, hey, I really want to hear more about so-and-so. And we'll try and put together a more focused episode. We're just trying to touch a lot of bases.
Yeah, we have a lot of things we want to share that we took away from being a new professional and being in our first week or first year that we just wanted to share with you right off the bat.
cobpodcast@gmail.com.
All right, so let's get into the social outlet life.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it up to my two socialites here in this room.
All right.
Compliments.
Kim, why don't you go? I just got done ranting.
That's fine. That's totally fine. All right, so my first social tip here for you guys. Netflix isn't a hobby. As much as you guys want to think it is.
Nice.
Netflix is great, but it's not a hobby.
That's true.
All right, so my advice to you guys would be to join some social groups, sports leagues, engagement teams, etc., just to get out there and do things that you actually enjoy outside of work hours.
Yeah. My big thing is to work out.
Yeah.
Nice.
I've physically noticed, like, I get stressed out and I just like I need to get out of here. I need to go work out, and I come back with a much better attitude, especially after a long. So this kind of gets into debate on when you work out, but like after a long work day, just going, producing some dopamine, getting those heart rates up, getting some gains, and then coming home is way better than going from a high stress environment to home. You'll be just like a couch potato.
Yep.
You won't want to do anything.
Exactly.
So we're gonna get into one quick segment. I know this has probably been a long episode. The Podium.
The Podium, our favorite. I love it.
Of office quirks.
Yes.
Oof.
We couldn't go through and tell you guys the survival guide for surviving your career without giving you the quirks that drive us nuts.
Yeah.
And we want you to see if you agree or if you have your own quirks to tell us about.
All right, we're going to start off with Aaron.
All right, my bronze, clipping your nails. in the office.
Ew.
There are certain
okay.
personal hygiene things that.
Oops.
No, that's one.
I clip my nails. I clip my fingernails in a trash can.
You have been warned. First warning. No, clipping your nails and other personal hygiene stuff like that in the office, not the place for
I
it.
floss sometimes.
See, flossing and brushing in the bathroom is one of those
At my
gray areas
desk.
that's acceptable if you do it in the bathroom.
I floss at my desk.
You floss at your desk. All right, second warning. Kevin's getting real close here. Kim, what's your bronze?
All right, so my bronze has to do with lotions and perfumes and scents in general.
I also have lotions and perfume. Am I the person that everyone hates?
Yes. All right, just be aware of the smells that carry.
So
Control your sense.
I put lotion on before I go talk to anyone, just so I'm radiating great smells. So
He gives himself a little spritz.
yeah,
Little spritz.
but I mean it's Bath and Body White Water Rush. It's like one of the best scents. So, anyways, my bronze is that food chewer at the
Ooh, yeah.
desk. That
Yeah,
they have their
that
headphones
person,
on,
yeah.
eating at their desk, and they're just into it.
And they're rocking their mouth. as
yeah,
far
and they
as-
have no idea.
Yep.
Can I tell you guys something? I actually
Yes.
take out a headphone if I'm eating at my desk.
I
just
agree.
to hear how loud I'm chewing, because sometimes even you talk loud with headphones in, chewing. You're
Ah!
just like,
Well, exactly. I love the
All
the
right.
one headphone tips.
Yeah.
I like
Silver.
that. My silver, messy offices. Kim, you gave us our listeners a tip earlier about organizing your life.
Yeah.
There are people who do not do that and who claim, "Oh, I can work better in a mess," or if I know this mess and I know where everything
Yeah.
is. Absolute bull feathers. I hate messy
Bull
offices.
feathers.
Bull
Bull
feathers. Messy offices drive me nuts.
All right, Kim, what's your silver?
my silver's loud talkers.
Mm-hmm.
Like loud chewers, loud talking is also very annoying and distracting and causes me to put my headphones on.
I agree.
My silver is personal phone call takers.
You,
We have designated phone call booths.
I think we're lucky. We're an office that has those little booths, those little closed door booths you can go have your personal call in.
But still, people don't utilize them.
They
Like
never
there'll be
do.
people talking like pretty deep conversations that I don't need to be
Personal
like.
stuff, yeah.
If you have to give your social security number, get out. Just get out.
Exactly, yeah.
Walk away.
My gold is the really crappy storytellers. The people that go on a story for 10, 15 minutes and they won't take a breath. They'll just keep trailing that discussion on.
Or like they use metaphors that no one understands.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who in the heck uses metaphors
What is this
anymore?
guy
This is the
trying-
21st century. Who
Where's
uses
he
metaphors?
landing the plane?
Exactly. He's circling the airstrip. He's coming down. Nope. A little tease there. He's going to keep circling. Exactly.
yeah.
It's like O'Hare in a snowstorm. Yeah. So the people who don't know how to tell stories or just lose everybody.
Kim, what's your gold?
Do you ever try to put your lunch or any container into the fridge and it's occupied by
Preach.
everybody's
Oh, yes.
Reach by their
everybody's lunchbox?
Yeah, or especially the cooler lunch boxes.
Yeah.
And they probably have ice packs in there, so it's already cold and they don't need to put it in the.
Homie, I can't even. All
I
right, so
so can you
What-
explain that better? So just what's your goal?
you open the refrigerator. You have a container of something that needs to be refrigerated, like a yogurt.
Yeah,
You try to find a space
or like
to put
Tupperware.
it in. Tupperware.
But
Each shelf is occupied with lunch boxes that are shoved in there. A whole lunchbox.
A whole lunchbox.
Handle and all.
that's the purpose of a lunchbox, people.
Take your lunchbox out. Next time you come into the office, put a freaking like ice or like a frozen shenanigans in there to keep
Yeah,
things
some
cool.
frozen shenanigans.
Frozen shenanigans.
Those frozen shenanigans. They sell them at Walmart,
An ice
right?
pack. Yeah,
yeah.
guys, it's simple.
Oh,
but
Kim.
I mean, just
I'm about to start.
wonderful.
I'm about to start chucking lunchboxes
Yep.
out of the
Yeah.
fridge.
He's going to toss those hands and get rid of those lunch boxes.
Yeah.
coming full circle with office etiquette.
All right, so
Kevin, you're gold.
that religion, politics, personal business guy.
Always the worst. And we all know the
Divisive,
personal.
We all-
divisive.
And you don't need that in the workplace.
No.
Not the time or the place.
Yeah.
All right, so that does it for the podium today. And before we leave, we got a little bit of an announcement as a podcast. I don't know if you've noticed, but Becca has been few and far between.
This is true. We are a three-legged stool right now.
So as soon as we started, I guess we recorded 5 episodes. She was supposed to be in this episode, but we
Yeah.
cut her out
Yeah.
of it. The reason why Becca's been like randomly in the episodes because she has been reassigned to the field. She is in Pittsburgh.
She
and
gleefully accepted a position there.
Yeah.
Awesome opportunity for
Yeah.
her.
awesome opportunity. But we will hopefully hear from her in
Yes.
the future.
Yeah.
Don't worry, listeners. We will be pulling her into future episodes via Skype.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Honestly, yeah, we should just crop in, yeah, totally. And that's pretty much all she added to the podcast anyway.
R.I.P. Becca, we miss you.
Yeah, totally.
Totally.
I always love ending on a negative note.
Yeah.
So
That's it for our episode today. We had a ton of fun talking about our own trials and tribulations, some of the stuff you heard and other stuff you didn't hear, thank goodness. As always, you can find all CLB Podcast episodes on YouTube at CLB Podcast or SoundCloud at Close of Business Podcast. Be sure to subscribe so you can get all the alerts for the new episodes. And if any of our top shelf listeners feel like you have a story to top ours, or if you need an impartial judge to settle your workplace dispute, hit us up on Twitter or Instagram at CLB Podcast. Or if you prefer to email us, hit us up at clbpodcast@gmail.com. That's it for today, guys. Love your bones. Da Sedania.